features for you. You ready? Yo, your next entrepreneur was actually on the show before. He was, I think he's our second guest who's been on the show before, and he's one of the very few who had an idea I really liked. It was comprehensive, and maybe too comprehensive. And I'm excited to see what he's got for us today. Everybody make a lot of noise for James Hamilton.
All right.
James, for you.
All right.
Hello. How are you all?
How you doing, James?
Doing well.
I'm gonna get real comprehensive.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not gonna disappoint with being extremely comprehensive, and I'm gonna solve the issue of white privilege, which I think would allow us to make a lot of progress on a lot of other issues. I think that white people's ability to opt out of conversations, which is a defining characteristic of privilege, means that we can't make a lot of progress on the issues of race and racism. So I'm going to solve that here, and I'm going to solve the issue of white privilege the same way. I'm going to destroy white privilege. Let me be clear. I'm going to destroy white privilege.
Right, I like what this means. Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to destroy white privilege the same way that white people have destroyed real estate markets across the country.
All right.
I'm going to do it through a tech company. Okay?
Oh, shit.
I like
Okay.
that you already have this logo.
Oh, I love this.
I got a logo. I did paperwork. This is an LLC. This is a living LLC. Okay.
I will say,
Man,
this
you know
is
niggas love peacocks. God,
You said I was like,
hey, but if this is a tech company, where you get all these vowels from? What are all these vowels doing here?
Yeah, it's interesting. I tried
they
that
got rid of
earlier.
vowels only in like 2012 to 2014. The getting rid of vowels thing, that's not even a thing. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, but that's just from where I'm coming from.
Okay,
It should be
okay.
unprivileged.
Listen, I would drop the vowels in a second. If that the reason I kept the vowels is because the name is unprivileged, taking people who are privileged and taking away their privilege, and the U felt important.
Well, I'm gonna take your vowel privileges away.
Okay, fair.
You get the U for context.
This is a tech company that is going to disrupt whiteness one interaction at a time. Okay? So,
It's a great logo.
Right, honestly.
Yeah,
That's a great logo.
I'm here for
That's
this.
a great logo. That could be like
But
the
what
side of
font? What
somebody's
font is
haircut.
this? Is this Arial?
of course. I'll be doing everything in Arial. This
Arial
whole time. Yeah. So I'm going to show you two products that Unprivileged is ready to unveil with a little bit of support. Two products here.
I'm
The
excited.
first product is going to answer the question that we've all thought, which is, what if we could just hold white people accountable? What if we could just show white people without an argument that they are racist, right?
Okay,
So
come on,
which is why-
slide two. Come on, slide two.
Let's go.
Press the button, okay?
Okay.
Oh, we am. What is that? What is this? Okay.
So this is the anti-racist credit
Oh,
score.
wow.
Look at slide two pull up.
Slide two did exactly what I need slide two to do.
Not racist credit?
So,
Come on.
just like a financial credit score, but this is tracking if you're racist or hopefully not racist, right?
Okay.
It functions much like a financial credit score. It tracks white people over the course of their life.
Oh,
okay.
It's very difficult to build, and it takes one incident for it to plummet. Instead of a
Not racist credit score.
Yeah.
God.
so
Damn.
instead of
Take
a
all my money, nigga. Take all. I'll wait.
yeah.
I'll wait for slide 3. I'm already in your dog. Come on in.
All right. Well,
Looking like a black basketball coach. All right,
Okay.
I got 5 pairs of exclusive Jordans for you. This shit. Go.
So I want to talk about how you build your anti-racist credit. Okay.
Slide 3, pull up. I love this idea.
Oh my God.
Damn.
It's giving layers. It's giving depth.
Giving color, giving boldness.
Okay. Also, this is a different number from the last slide.
The
Yeah.
number of fonts using is impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Honestly,
You're using a
Any
lot.
graphic designers would tell me it's problematic, but
Well, we like it.
I think it looks great.
thank you. You're the one who matters here, so I appreciate that.
Great.
There are plenty of ways to slowly build your credit score, right? But it's going to happen over a long period of time. For example, just make a friend who's black, and your credit score goes up a little bit.
All right.
Your credit score drops if you start to explain things by saying, I have a friend who's black.
Now, is this on the app? Is this like, how do I physically see
Yeah,
them
great
fuck
question.
up in front of my face?
Great question, great question.
All right.
So,
But I'm in, baby.
So,
I just need a little bit more to get me there.
yeah. So there's a couple ways that we can go about this anti-racist credit score. First of all, the tech company is taking care of all of the calculations here. People of color around the country just interact with this like it's a Yelp for white people, right? So you just submit a review. You submit it.
God! Damn! Nigga! I yell white people?
You Yelp white people.
Oh, shit! $2 million, nigga. Don't need to see the next slide. I'm in.
Come on, Nori.
$2 million.
I want to see the
You
next
$2 million.
Yeah, come on. Slide
Calm
number
down.
4.
All right.
Truly.
Y'all can say what you want. I ain't not gonna look at it. I already am. That's fire. I yell white people. I'm in.
Yo, this feels like a white dude rapping right now. Like you're too good. Like,
Yeah, no, this is 8 Mile. He's winning. And I'm Falco. I'm Papa Doc. I'll be like,
Right. Okay.
So first, before we move on to the second product, I want to demonstrate the ways in which I think having this score having this score available and up to date would change our world. It would change the way that we interact with white people. It would change the ways that we date online.
Oh, wow.
I already made a
Yes.
deal.
Wow.
He was
in. Honestly,
This is
James, I'm
This is
shook.
big.
Come on.
James, I'm shook.
Come on.
Oh my God.
You get off the Tinder
Uh-huh.
and you set your range of an anti-racist credit score,
Wow.
just like you would an age or a distance.
Wow.
So that you can proceed with confidence
Wow.
that the white person you hook up with isn't going to start describing things as ghetto. They're not going to do it.
Wow.
They're never going to spring that on you. And also, if you're like super weird, you could set this real low and hate fuck some racists. If that's what you're into.
Wow.
If that's what you're into.
Oh my
This
God.
gives you the freedom to do that.
Damn.
This might be the
Where do you
greatest
find this
airport
white boy?
presentation.
Shit, he did his
I don't know. We came out of nowhere. He just does
Man,
this,
I feel
man.
like an old black woman in church. This Morgan presentation.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I just want to show the other way because I believe that this product could curtail gentrification.
Okay.
Because I believe that having an anti-racist credit score would mean that when new white people try to move into New York, suddenly they have to have first month's rent, last month's rent, and their racist credit score over 700. I'm done! I'm done! Nigga, to get to the building, you need a 700? Nigga, I'm done! Get me off this show!
Shake your head right now.
Get me off this show!
Phenomenal. I mean,
Come on.
Truly.
They not moving in nowhere. I'm done, fam. We get the hood back. Do you understand that? We get the hood back. We're anti
Bushwick is hard.
credit score.
Bushwick is hard.
Bushwick is back.
This is.
Woo. Whole Foods is all Flatbush, nigga. You understand? Woo.
Yo, this feels like when that white dude could sing that one time. You remember that?
Yeah. But there's always gonna be that.
So,
That's fine.
let me...
That's fine.
I'm gonna...
He pulled up. He pulled up.
So,
This white boy.
I do want to be clear about
What is-
something.
yeah, what
There
is
are
that?
going to be a few industries that suffer because of anti-racist credit scores.
Okay.
For example, the study abroad industry. Okay? Because 20-year-old white people have not built an anti-racist credit score that's going to allow them to study abroad in
Right.
like South Africa,
Right.
which really should have been the case the whole time. Okay?
There you go.
So they can't do that anymore. But there is a way that they could still study abroad if your parents have a very high anti-racist credit score. They can co-sign. They can co-sign.
I can tell by this haircut that she ain't got a good anti-racist.
She doesn't.
Yeah.
I can tell by this, yeah.
She's trying to get on her daughter's credit.
Right. She's like, are you still friends with that Shamal? Bring him by for some green bean casserole.
So I'm trying to buy a house in Ladera Heights. I want to buy a house in Ladera Heights. Do that. Ladera Heights is a black neighborhood in LA. Okay.
So,
Shout out to Frank Ocean.
Hey.
Unprivileged, this tech company, doesn't
yeah.
just detect racists, it's also going to disrupt one of the things that is most inherent to white privilege, which is cultural appropriation. It's going to do that by one of the greatest screening technologies on the internet, which is CAPTCHAs. CAPTCHAs.
Captures, I think, is a word white people should be able to say.
You would think. You would think. I realized. Never said it out loud. So.
Like a lot of things.
Yes. Exactly. Like a
The
lot of
N
things.
word? Okay. No.
So
We
here's
get it.
what we're going to do. CAPTCHAs, of course, test, are you a robot? But we're going to be asking questions now like, are you a racist? Or more specifically, are you really about to dread your hair? White people should be able to check no on this question. Now, I think that this is going to change the way that white people interact with everything, right? Because we know that white guys love hip-hop. So when this white guy goes onto Spotify and he's about to click a hip hop song, guess what, dude? You got CAPTCHA, right? You got CAPTCHA because this is gonna pop up and say, please type these words. And if you can't see it in the back, it says Black Lives Matter.
And then the folks that can't see color can't see this shit right here.
Right. But because Spotify links to Facebook, this goes right to his Facebook page so everybody knows what his politics are. If he tries to erase it, we know what that does to his anti-racist credit score, right? We know.
Y'all got real quiet at this point. What's happening?
You guys struggle with this one? Okay.
Why is it this part?
So, it isn't just this type of CAPTCHAs. Let's say for a second that a white woman is about to post on Instagram and she's going to use a slang term from a culture that is not her own. Guess what, lady? You got CAPTCHA, okay? Because suddenly it's going to say, identify which of these pictures is Shirley Chisholm. I'm going to tell you something. If you don't know who the first black congresswoman is who also ran for president, you can't describe things as lit. You can't do it. You can't do it. So,
You know what? I gotta stop calling you white boy. What's your name? I need to give you your respect.
James, yeah.
James, you are doing the
You had me
Lord's
at,
work.
James, you had me at slide too, nigga.
Yo.
Man, bro. How much money we got? I'm gonna tweet LeBron that.
Yo. Carson would call you over to the couch on this shit.
Yeah.
This is like, this is some serious
man.
shit.
We gotta get
Oh
that
my
Twitter
God.
on this.
Look. What?
Yeah, that's.
Somebody said do it? Do what?
He said do it.
Yeah, this is like some shit
Bro.
we could actually do.
Yo. This is some real shit. I feel like this is, how quickly could you implement this?
I think we could do it pretty quickly. I mean, the technology is there. We would just have to direct it the right way. You know?
Yeah,
Look.
I'm in.
What do y'all think?
man.
Hold on. No. No. Y'all stop. What do the like 6 black people think?
They're about to do it.
Man.
Okay.
Yo! This just turned into an auction.
My guy got 10 on it.
I got 10 on it.
He said I got 10 on it.
Yo.
Yeah, man.
Bro,
Honestly,
take my shit right now. I don't like.
Yeah.
I have a weekly Metro card with a couple swipes left on it. 100%. I think it expires actually at midnight tonight. So.
Oh, yo, that's a Cinderella Metro card. That's worth a lot of money in the streets, man.
Yeah.
This is great.
I would take it.
James, my only question for you is what happens when white people try to check their anti-racist credit score? Does it go down like a regular credit score?
Yeah, so every time that somebody checks it, it would get the ding that a normal credit score is because they shouldn't have to check.
Right, they should know.
Right? They should know. So if they're having to check, it gets a little ding.
Right,
You know?
boom. Look at God.
Yeah.
Look at God. Black emoji praying hands.
James, I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you, James. Are y'all proud of James?
James, thank you so much for getting on the stage tonight. And
I might like physically go into a bank and get a loan for you, bro. I'm like really trying to make. I ain't got that money. But it's like, my black is gonna apply for a loan to give to you.
I just think it's
Get
fucked up.
this going.
I just think it's fucked up that there's somebody on after you, cause
No, they be alright. You be alright.
You be alright, Kenny.
Back in the
James, well, make some noise for James. I think we're in on it, man. Thank you. We're in on it. James, where can people find you? Where can
You can find me on Twitter at @thejamham, and you'll find everything else there. So.
Yo, make some noise for James.
You invite to the barbecue, James.
Yeah.